If I could tell people anything, it's don't let those opportunities go, because we all get them somewhere along the lines, and you don't know how and when. You don't know what one decision is going to change everything. There's nothing special about me, and that's the honest truth. It's just sort of like, what are you scared of? And it's a comfort thing. I know a lot of people don't want to leave home because it's scary to go out into the world, but you miss so much if you don't try it. There's work to do, and it's important, and I feel like I'm needed. And until that changes, like I'll be here.
Welcome to The Human Experience. I'm Jennifer Peterkin, and this is episode 28, Jen's story. Jen's adventures have taken her all over the world. She's explored multiple continents and has taken every opportunity to see and experience as much as possible. And while the choice to seek and learn is an admirable one, that doesn't mean it's always an easy road to walk. Most recently, Jen has been living in Brasov, volunteering with Firm Foundations Romania. For more information about FFR, please visit the show notes. So, Jen, other Jen, we are...
Yes, we're two.
Two are we. We're in Romania right now. You have been living here for a year?
Yes, I had my 1 year... Yeah, last month, actually, it was the 1 year, which is why I have to get my visa renewed, which is always a fun process.
Yeah.
Paperwork in Romania is a fun process.
The visa is really interesting. I mean, and this is just anecdotally, but I had to get a visa a few years ago. I actually didn't know I needed one. Like, I didn't understand the rules clearly. So I had to get an emergency visa, and it was literally written on like a scrap piece of paper.
Yep.
Yes. Thank you. You know what I mean?
I do.
And I flew out of the country, and like, if I didn't have this visa, I wasn't going to be allowed to come back. Mm-hmm. So I'm leaving Romania, and at the border, they're like, what is this? And I'm like, you guys gave this to me. You have to accept it. And they're like, we need to call some people. So they like called who they needed to call, whatever. I was able to leave. I had a layover in Amsterdam, and getting on my flight, they were checking my passport and they were like, let's see your visa. You need a visa. So I gave it to them, and they were like, what is this? Like, it's Romania. This is not a visa. And I'm like, listen, you understand that I came from Romania. This is all I have for you. First of all, it's temporary, but also it is what it is. They eventually let me leave, but I was thinking that I wasn't going to get on my flight. So yes, all that to say, the visa process in Romania is interesting.
It is. Mary, because she does the same kind of visa. She's on a different visa than Sarah and Steffi. And I remember when I got my first one, because it's like you can be in the country for 90 days, no problem. But then you have to get this paperwork, which thankfully FFR knows Kati, who does all the visa stuff. And so you need this. Okay, no problem. And then Mary was like, don't worry, you'll do the thing. And then they'll give you that slip of paper. Mm-hmm. We were going to Cyprus, I think. Like, we were leaving the country. And I'm like, Mary, I don't know about this. If I don't have my visitor residency. And she's like, no, it's fine. They'll give you like a little yellow piece of paper. That's all you have to wave. And I'm like, that is so weird to me. She's like, just don't lose that. Then you're in trouble. But nope, that's.
And did you have any trouble?
No, thankfully I picked it up like 3 days before it was ready. And
good.
All good now. But yeah, it's the same concern of sort of, we're going to drive across maybe driving is going to be better or worse. I have no clue.
Yeah, true.
But it's the same thing, because it's like you have to leave while it's still good and then come back when it's expired.
Yeah.
As your 90-day again. And then I just reapply, and we'll see.
Yeah. Yes. Well, good luck with that.
Thank you.
Have you been home since you've been out here?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I was home in November for 2 months.
Oh, nice.
I needed to work. That's the fun part about doing this.
Yeah,
you're
doing
not paid.
Service work, sure.
Yeah. And one of the hardest thing for me has been asking people for money.
Yeah.
Because I've always just worked. I don't need to go and speak at a church to fundraise and get all emotional about it. And I don't have to run raffle baskets and basically just plead for money. But I mean, my fundraising was not going well. And I'd set a dollar amount, and I'm like, God, this is my dollar amount. And I'm going anyway. Like, I'd booked my ticket, and sure enough, right before I left, or right after I got here, one of the two,
wow.
I had that number, and it's crazy. And then that's what got me through 8 months. And then the plan had always been, obviously, I wanted to go home and see family. And I was working at a bookstore at the time, and they said, yeah, no problem. We need you for Christmas. So had a job, picked up a second job, ended up picking up a third job unbeknownst to me.
Of course.
So yeah, why not?
Who doesn't?
So it's been good. But yeah, yes. And then September we'll go back for a bit of a visit.
So I don't think we've actually officially said, but you work with from Foundations Romania.
Yes.
You came out for the first time in 2017?
Yes.
But you've known about FFR for years, right?
Yes.
So how did you know about FFR?
So I was working, this is going to go back now to probably 2012, 2013.
Okay.
Working at a travel agency in BC, Canada. And we specifically dealt with NGOs, missionaries, not your regular cruise, all-inclusive vacations. And so this inquiry just came to my desk from this young woman who lived a few hours away, and she was here for 5 years. And it was just, hi, my name's Raylene. I live in Romania, but I go back and forth. Can you help me with flights? No problem. Landed on my desk. We talked a little bit. She told me a little bit about it. After she finished her 5 years here, she passed me over to Mary. And Mary just was like, can you help us with flight stuff every now and again? And I mean, I worked at that company for, well, it was about 10 years. And there was a lot of like, hey, if you're ever coming to wherever, then come and see us, which was great. And I was very blessed because I did get to go and visit a lot of places. But it just so happened in 2017, I had taken a 3-month leave from work and was coming to Europe. And I was like, we'll go. And the funny thing is, I came for 2 weeks, very like,
Really?
no big deal. It was
so interesting.
It was kind of a, like, this is nice. I'd lived in Eastern Europe before, so I was like, I do want to see Romania because I've heard lots of things about it. But yeah, it just I never thought I would come back at 2017. And then 2019, working for the same travel agency, but everyone was starting to work remotely at that point. And their motto was basically, or maybe this was my personal motto, but I heard it somewhere, was if you can work from home, you can work from Rome.
Ooh.
And I was like, well, not Rome, but how about Romania?
Yeah.
And so in 2019, I came back for 2.5 months, loved it. Whole completely different experience in 2017. Met a lot of wonderful people. Like, yeah, I could do this every year. I'll come for 3 months and then I'll not ever need a visa. Then it's just,
right.
Yeah, you can go, then go home for 6 months. And that was the plan. Went home, booked my trip for March 2020 to go back and do the exact same. Like, it was booked. My dad was going to come with me for part of it to go and see Eastern Europe. And then, yeah, that all got canceled. February 2020. We all remember.
Yes.
Yeah.
The days that will live in infamy, for sure. That's so interesting to hear that your first trip was such an underwhelming experience.
It was so forgettable.
Yeah. And then you came back. I think that's fascinating. So your job as a travel agent, I don't think before meeting you that I had ever heard of a travel agency that specifically worked with missionaries and NGOs. Obviously, I understand the need for it, but how does one get into that?
I was a travel agent before that.
Okay.
Funny twist of fate, again, involving people I know and I have lost in the meantime, but
it's okay.
It's interesting because this is, I mean, the path of life.
Sure.
So grief is weird.
Grief is weird.
So when did I start as a travel agent? 2004-ish. And I was hired at the same time as a woman named Trisha and another woman named Sarah, actually. And Trisha was like mama number 2. She was like 25 years older than me. She had a daughter that was around my age. And we worked together for a lot of years. Ended up starting this like Saturday morning walking club with a bunch of ladies that we know. And I was a traveler in my 20s, for sure. My cousin and I, who had been on other travels before, but we're like, let's go to New Zealand. Let's go on a one-way trip. We don't know when we're coming back. We're going to get a work visa. So that's what we did, because you can get that up until age 30. So we went when I was 28. She's a few years younger. And lived there for 8 months. Had no clue when we were coming back. But while we were down there, I'd called Trisha. And she's like, Jen, I quit at our old place. And she's like, did you know there's this other agency in town, in the same town, that does like NGO travel? You would love it. This is so up your alley. I mean, I would not consider myself a Christian by any means by that point, but it was just something different. Like, I love the concept of random places and just not your average cruise vacation. So It's like, that's cool. I have no clue when I'm coming home, but good for you. Anyway, surprised both of our families came back. The agency ended up being around the corner from where my sister lived, and that's who I was staying with when I came back. So
Oh, wow.
the next day I went, visited Trisha, and, you know, I'm back, and how you doing? Can we go for a walk sometime? Unbeknownst to me, after I left, she went to the boss and was like, you need to hire that girl.
Wow.
So they did. They sent me an email and just said, Trisha just popped in our office. Do you want to bring your resume in? We don't have a travel agent spot for you, but there's another administrative thing. Cool. Let's do that. So that's what I did. I had an interview, applied with them, and as it turned out, the administrative job was a team of 2, and the person I was working with became my best friend. So I was hired in May of 2009. 2 months later, one of our coworkers was getting married, and Trisha's like, do you want to come with me? I'm just going to go to the wedding. Like, just go to the ceremony, not staying for the after party. Okay. And I was like, no, I haven't been here for very long. And that's okay. And then we go for a walk the next day. Do you want to come with me? It's just this ceremony. No, that's okay. Didn't go. She was killed in a car accident coming back.
Oh my gosh.
She was killed in a car accident coming back from that wedding. And I mean, the impact that one person can have just by her walking into an office and saying, you have to hire that girl, changed my entire life, unbeknownst to both of us. I mean, she would never know. I ended up taking over her job.
Wow.
She was in the middle of booking a group of 700 people heading to Turkey. And so I got back into being a travel agent, basically being with clients. So life is funny. But yeah, I mean, I started working for them. I would not consider myself a Christian. I was like, I believe in God, and like, okay, Jesus, I don't know. I have no relationship. I not a clue. But that was a faith-based travel agency, and the people I worked with were like Christ followers.
Yeah.
And the lessons I learned there from various people and the relationships I made and, you know, friendships, like one moment just can change everything. And for me, it certainly did. And that's eventually down the road how I met FFR, and then down the road ended up at 41 coming, landing in Romania and going, I have no clue what I'm doing here, but for some reason, this is where I'm supposed to be. So
Yeah. What a ride.
you know what? That's my new motto. It used to be, if you can work from home, you can work from home. It's now, I'm just along for the ride. I say it to myself. I sometimes say it out loud. Like, I gave up control a long time ago because there's no point.
I mean, you have certainly experienced a lot of grief and a lot of loss. But I think it's really interesting the choices that you chose to make, especially knowing that you weren't on the same page as a lot of these people that, you know, were involved in a faith-based travel agency. Just the desire to be there, I think is really fascinating. Was it something about the people there? Was it about what they were doing? Yeah. What was it about that drew you there? Or was it Trisha?
It started out Trisha, 100%, because I trusted her completely. And from the moment she said, you would love it, I'm like, I'm in. Like, I have no idea why, but she knew that I loved different kinds of travel. So that certainly started it. I mean, the job that I was doing for the first 2 months that I was there, didn't love it. But the person I was sitting next to made it a whole lot of fun. And then we had our own adventures above and beyond that. At that point, there was probably 12 or 13 people in the office, like a few of them coming up on retirement age. Not a lot of youngins, like we were some of the youngins. But I remember hearing, I mean, the stories that you hear about travelers, like this would have been shortly after Trisha died. There was a fellow that came into the office, and the way that our office was, like, you could have walk-ins, but it was really, we were more email, phone calls, because a lot of our clients were around Canada. And this fellow came in, and the boss just comes bustling out. And I'm like, I don't know who this person is, but okay. And then she had this huge, long conversation. And then she came over to me, and she's like, do you know who that is? And I said, no, like, should I? And she told me his name. He was an older fellow. And she's like, he's released a book. He and his wife were long-term missionaries in Kenya. They were attacked, left for dead, as seniors. Like the woman was raped along with 3, I think they were Dutch, possibly Belgian young women were attacked sort of in this rampage, and he was left for dead. And at least one of the women ended up getting HIV from it. And they basically have gone back. I don't know how many years before that this had all happened, but he went back and blessed them. Like the guys were arrested and he went back to Kenya and forgave them. And then he sort of ministered over time to the women after they had gone back to, again, Belgium or Netherlands, I'm not sure. And I was like, what? Where does that come from in your life that you can just, I mean, he almost died and his wife was brutally assaulted. And how do you just go back and forgive? And I dealt with him a few times over the years, but in talking to him, I swear it was like, you're an angel or something. Like you're not like anybody I've ever spoken to. And that's the first big one that I remember. And I was like, this is not like anywhere else I've ever worked.
Yeah.
It was stuff like that. And it's people that, I mean, I had a lot of long-term clients. I was there for, well, right up until COVID. So I was there for almost 10 years. And the people you meet and the stories you hear and the invitations I got, I mean, I got invited down to El Salvador to do a build with an organization that I dealt with. And while we were checking out this one area, there's gunshots and they're like, we need to get out of here. And I'm like, okay, we're in real time now.
Yeah.
Like this is, it's not stuff that you can make up. And yet these people like, yeah, we're going to go back and do that. Like there's just no phasing them. And I think it sunk in for me personally, obviously. Just there's a whole other element and there's a whole different type of person out there. And what is this all about? So then I would, you know, start asking questions and got a lot of answers from people that I worked with. And the rest is history, as they say.
So you got into being a travel agent in your 20s.
Yes, I did.
And then this kind of elevated it. Why did you become a travel agent in the first place?
In university, well, I wanted to be a zoologist for my first 2 years. Terrible in the sciences, as it turned out. I was very sad to know that I could not pass the 2 math classes that I needed to continue. And again, that's sort of one of those moments you look back and go, that would have changed everything. Like if I passed those 2 math classes, I mean, I had always told myself, I don't want to just be average at something. I want to be good at something. And so I had switched my major in my 3rd year of university, got a humanities degree, ended up saying, okay, I want to become a teacher. My older sister was a teacher and I'd thought about maybe being a high school history teacher. And I thought, before I jump into that, maybe I should just go see if I like teaching. And so a friend of my sister's had taught overseas before, and she gave me a website. This was like 2002, and said, just look on there. And I found one. I applied to one job, and I got it in Poland. I applied, and I think it was like June or July, and I was gone in September.
Wow.
And my parents, I mean, my mom still is like, it's so weird to us that you were just like, it was no big deal. You were just like, I'm just doing this thing. They're like, you never did that. Like you were pretty much a homebody. Anyway,
interesting.
Taught English for a full school year.
Not your fave?
Loved the people, loved where I was.
Okay.
And loved being able to go and see, I mean, as a history buff, as a history major, being in Poland is something else entirely, again, similar to Romania. But I came back and I was like, yeah, I think I'm not going to do the teacher thing. Jumped right into a diploma course in tourism.
Okay.
And had this job, my first travel agency job before I had even graduated. We were supposed to do a practicum and I'm like, I'm done. Like I'm hired. Thank you. Please give me the diploma.
Goodbye. Yes. It's been so real.
Yeah. So that was that. And that's where I started. And oh God, I have not worked at a bunch of different places. And it's funny because even the last place that I was at, my Life Changer agency, in the interview process, the manager was like, how long do you think you'll stay? And I was like, like a year? Because I was pretty flighty and like, I just want to go see the world. And, and she was like, I need a 2-year commitment. And I said, okay, I can give you 2 years. And I was there for 10.
Wow.
And I would still be there had it not been for COVID. So it's just, I found something I liked. I happened to be pretty good at it. And then it just opened a lot of doors in a lot of different ways.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Truly. From zoology to tourism. I love it.
I mean, I still love to go and see the animals in Africa, but slightly different.
Have you done that?
I have.
That's amazing.
I've taken a few 3-month sabbaticals from work. I think they actually had to rewrite their employee handbook a little bit because of the things that I asked for and thankfully was granted. They had said, okay, every 5 years you can go for this 3 months off and do your thing, because that's what I said. I need to go and see the world and do my thing. And then when I'm back, I'm full in. And then whatever, I can plan my next something. So in 2012, I was in Africa for 2.5 months doing a variety of different things. That was one of the places I got to visit an NGO in Uganda, did another bit of NGO work in Tanzania as well, did a bit of a safari, and then did some overland safaring from Cape Town up to Victoria Falls. And just, I mean, there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it. You know, you've been to Africa, but.
Yeah, last year was my first time, but I am itching to go back. And I didn't do safari yet, but I'm like, it's just incredible.
Yeah. It is National Geographic right in front of your eyes. I mean, I don't take a lot of pictures, but I still have pictures and videos on my current phone from 2012 of like a lion just walking around our safari car. And you're just like, oh, this is normal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
No biggie. So yes, highly encouraged when you go back.
Yeah.
I'm sure you will.
Oh yeah. I'm hoping to go back to Kenya later this year.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to kind of ease myself into some of that too.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
So Poland.
Yes.
I need to decide if I like to teach. I'm going to go somewhere and do it, teach English. So what was that like, the actual teaching part of it? Because you said it wasn't something that you really enjoyed.
I mean, I did enjoy it in a way. Mm-hmm. And again, in a very strange, this is why I know God has a sense of humor. Here, at this moment with FFR, they have asked me to teach English to the teachers, the Romanian teachers. And so sure enough, I can go online and find our old teaching stuff from 20 years ago, revamp it a little. But I'm like, oh gosh, full cycle here. So it's one of those, I couldn't have said yes to teaching English to these ladies if I hadn't already done that. It was teaching adults primarily. Like there was one group of kids, but most of them were university students and then up from there. And they were small groups. And I mean, it was fun, but it was also just a job. And it was when you're doing the same thing over and over and over. That was not my favorite thing, but I certainly enjoyed it. I mean, got a lot of laughs out of it. I won't tell you the name specifically because I know it's still out there, but it was developed basically in the 40s or maybe early 50s.
Oh, wow.
So when you look at some of the questions, it's dated. So that always got a pretty good reaction. And we would do our own twists. Like we had one group that were pretty far advanced and they're like, we're tired of answering the questions of this book. Can we have a class at, strangely enough? And all the answers we're going to give are related to death. And I'm like, sure, because that will actually, you have to then expand your vocabulary a little bit. And on that note, my friend and I ended up throwing them a death party just for fun. Like a couple days after this all happened, we're like, come over to my one friend's apartment, and they walk in and she's under a sheet with like a toe tag on, and it just went downhill from there. But you had to have fun with it. And I loved it. And I think this is one of the things that's really stuck with me from that whole experience is the woman that hired us, the head teacher, was actually Canadian as well. She was from the East Coast. And when I started, I was hired with another fellow who was from Alberta, the neighbor province. And I was like, oh, this feels pretty Canadian. Okay, this is great. And so in the first week, it was just the three of us. Like it was intensive training. I said hello to the other teachers, but no interaction really. And one night they're like, just come down to the pub right around the corner. So we're sitting there and I'm sitting across from this teacher. She's a few years older than me. And it's one of those, where are you from? Oh, Canada. Oh, me too. Where? BC. Oh, me too. Where? And I said, Abbotsford. And she said, shut up. And she's like, I just finished teaching in Abbotsford. She taught at my high school.
What?
The year after I graduated.
Oh, my
And
word.
we both ended up working together. She is, to this day, one of my nearest and dearest friends. Every time I go back home, I make an effort to see her. I mean, it's a 20-year friendship, and it's like riding a bike. You can go months and months of nothing, and then you just pick right back up, which is the best kind of friendship. So yeah, there was a couple of just wonderful friendships made with a couple of people. And I would like to get back to Poland, actually. It's been a long time. Now I have no excuse because Romania is so close. But yeah, it's sort of one of those game changers when you look at life and go, oh, I did that. Like, it was very eye-opening. And also just right after university. So I'm 21, 22. My parents have always been, I don't know what they think underneath because they're very supportive on the surface. They have always been very like, this is your life and we're never going to hold you back. And
that's pretty awesome.
You just do your thing. And I mean, they've always been that way, thankfully. I'm very thankful because even coming here at 41, it's sort of, okay, that's still your life. Don't stay home because we're getting older. And so I'm thankful for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think to your point about, your friend that you made in Poland, it's so interesting when you talk to other people that travel and they understand or they get the idea or the concept that travel just intensifies everything in your life.
Absolutely.
You are in this situation where everything is magnified because you're so vulnerable. And so the relationships you build and the places you see and the experiences you have, there is nothing else that can compare to it.
No.
And so it's really interesting when you talk to somebody that hasn't traveled as much or doesn't even really enjoy it. And, it's not their thing. That's okay. That's totally fine. But I'm like, I don't understand how everybody doesn't want this.
I agree. I've made it a point, especially people who are younger than me and sort of in the same, not married, no kids, whatever. But I made a point to be like, if you have that opportunity, you need to go and take it because,
yes,
I mean, this world is falling apart anyway, but it's how you figure yourself out a lot of the time. And you don't know what path. I mean, like I said, if I'd passed 2 math courses, my life would be completely different.
Right.
If I hadn't gone to see Trisha after I came back, or if I hadn't come back at that point, if I had come back 2 months later, she would have already been gone. I would have never worked at that place. Yeah, you have to take the opportunities. And looking back now, I'm a big, I like to look back, and I'm not the wait till the end of my life and have the flashback. I'm very much a look back and recognize, and I'm in a season of thankfulness right now. And it's good to think about stuff like that and to think about where I want to go next. Right now, Romania is home and looks like it will be for at least a little while. And we'll see. We'll see what next adventures are. But yeah, you have to travel.
Yeah.
You have to travel.
You started in your early 20s.
Yep.
Were you scared?
Weirdly not.
Really?
And I actually hate flying. I hate it,
oh, wow.
Which a lot of people think is also hilarious as a travel agent. And as somebody who loves to travel, I would rather be almost anywhere than sitting on a plane. I can't relax. Part of it, my mom jokes, is like, well, you can't drive the plane. So it's like a control thing,
Sure.
Partly, which I get. But yeah, never scared. And even actually coming here last year in March, the Ukrainian war started 2 weeks before I got here. And I was speaking at a church literally the week before I came, and it came up. It was like, are you worried? And I have never felt so much peace about my travels. It was just... everything had come together relatively quickly. And I had been here in 2021 as well. That's another interesting story. But I ended up being the first international volunteer back after COVID.
Oh, wow.
Came in 2021. I was coming for 6 weeks. And within the first 3 or 4 days, it was like, I think I'm supposed to be here long term. Like, I don't know what it was. And to this day, I can't pinpoint.
Wow.
But it was an overwhelming feeling. So no, other than the flying part, because like I said, I am not a good flyer, and I don't relax, and I get the sweaty palms. I don't scream on planes or anything, thankfully, but I don't like it, but I like being places.
Yeah.
And
the trade-off is worth it for you.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yes.
No, that's good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there are certain things that I've experienced that I would say that I was scared going into it. And it's more just like a fear of the unknown, right? It's not that I'm scared that anything in particular is going to happen. It's just that I don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
And coming here for the first time was definitely one of those things. I was 20 and, I was here for 2 weeks. I was with my mom too. So,
okay.
but I was the one that wanted to come. I was the one that booked the trip. I remember the first night we were here staying in our room and eating trail mix and Cheez-Its for dinner.
Oh, delish.
Yeah. Right. Because I was terrified to go out and find somewhere to eat. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know
Right.
well, I don't know the language. How am I going to find a place? And just this idea that's so funny now after having traveled for more than a decade.
Yeah.
But I agree. Any young person, especially that is not even just like unsure about what they want to do, even if you think you're sure.
Yeah.
Just take some time and travel. I don't care if it's for the summer. Like,
Yeah.
go to college if you want to, go do your thing, go, achieve all of your dreams, but just do it scared and just do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
I think fear is such a hindrance to so many people. Mm-hmm. And I mean, certainly over the years, I've had a lot of people say, well, how do you do it? And aren't you ever scared? And it's so weird because I'm not.
Yeah.
And certainly early on, I could never pinpoint, well, that's God protecting me. Now I know that that's what it is. But it's sort of, I mean, I've had a lot of people who've said, oh, I could never do what you do. But the thing is, anybody could do. I mean, I shouldn't say anybody, but like, I come from a comfortable household. I have normal education compared to other people. There's nothing special about me. And that's the honest truth. It's just sort of like, what are you scared of? And it's a comfort thing. I know a lot of people don't want to leave home because it's scary to go out into the world, but you miss so much if you don't try it.
Absolutely. I think too, I find that a lot of people think that they are so protected where they are and it's safer there than other places. And that if you travel, you're opening yourself up to these horrendous and horrific experiences. And, if you confronted people like that, I'm sure they would disagree because on a very basic level, it's just untrue. But I've had so many people just tell me like, you're brave for doing this. Mm-hmm. And on one hand, I'm like, I understand that. It does take a certain level of confidence and courage to decide to do it. But it's not because I'm going into the unknown of people that are going to hurt me or have it out for me. So do you find that you've experienced that at all?
100%.
Okay.
100%. Even before I left, and I guess most recently because of the situation in Ukraine, and a lot of people saying, are you sure? Like, are you sure this is what you want to do? And gosh, you're brave to do that. And I would never describe myself as brave. I'm like a little child when I see a big spider. Like, I am the least from brave, and I don't think of it that way. But if that's what it encourages for somebody else to be like, I can do that. I don't know. I mean, the whole thing of it's better to give than to receive. I mean, everybody's heard that. It's something else to live it. And I mean, it's not easy to put yourself in that position where you are going abroad and you know that people back home are worried about you constantly. But that's decisions as well that you have to make and then live with.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like we've said before, it magnifies all of your experiences. Mm-hmm. So including the experience of developing your perspective on the world and what that is and other people and other cultures. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing quite like it. So it can't be replicated.
It's true.
So Poland was your first venture into Eastern Europe.
Yep.
And you didn't love the act of teaching, but you loved the place.
Yes.
What was it about Poland that you loved? I've never been.
Oh, you must. Well, certainly the history part. World War II history was sort of my focus in university. And so it was a school year we taught. So I taught September to June. My sister was a teacher back home, so she came to visit in July. And I knew she was going to be coming. And I had told myself, don't go to Auschwitz until she goes with you, because I want to have that experience with her because of obviously all the stuff that entails. But on one hand, I'm glad I waited. I'm glad I didn't go a second time to it. But on the other hand, I'm like, I've lived here too long and I've seen too many other things to have the full impact of what a normal tourist would have living there. I mean, one of my favorite places to go to, one of my students was a sculptor actually, and he was like, oh, come, like I do my sculpting down at this old cemetery, this old Jewish cemetery, and went down there and it's like this overgrown, it was so beautiful. I would never be able to find this place again if I tried, but this overgrown, there's bullet holes in the walls, Jewish cemetery, and you just go, wow, there is a lot here. It was things like that. I mean, Eastern Europe is certainly different from Western Europe in that people, they may come across not as friendly to start, but they are so warm. Yeah. And once you get to know them, and they are so welcoming and they will bend over backwards for you. So that was a part of it. I think just the teachers I was with, the city I was in, and just the whole experience of it. And like I said, I didn't love the teaching. I didn't hate it, but it was just a job. And when you do the same we're going to repeat these words. When you do that 5 times a week for a full school year, it was exhausting.
Sure.
But I mean, it's still one of my most favorite trips I've ever been on.
Well, and I think too, it was really your first foray into long-term travel. And, you know, you were just entering adulthood too. So there is something about that leaves an imprint on you.
100%.
So that's interesting. Both went to Eastern Europe in our early 20s.
Yep.
As our first.
And look at us now.
Look
back
at us
in
now.
Romania, however many years later.
Yeah. It's too many years because it's just going too fast. So you're a travel agent and COVID hits. What does that do to you? What happens?
It was a lot of stress. I'm thankful for the company I worked with because immediately it was running reports to see where are people in the world and how quickly do we need to get them out of there. Because airports in countries were closing left, right, and center. And it was, I can't remember, 2 to 3 weeks of just pure stress because it's contacting people, finding anything that you can possibly find to get people out. And I mean, we had people around the world and some people who were like, we're just going to wait this out a little bit. And then that was obviously tougher as it went along. And you're like, you need to get yourself back to Canada. And then shortly thereafter, we all got we're basically letting everybody go. It's a large company. And they kept 2 people on just to sort of run oh gosh, I'm so glad that I was let go because they were gracious with the way they treated us because they knew it was not easy and nobody's decision. And I'm glad for my 2 wonderful friends who stayed on. I have nothing but sympathy for what they had to go through because it was a lot of stress for the full year after that. And I mean, we always had to fight as a travel agent anyway of, well, why would I book with a travel agent rather than online? And thankfully, because of the nature of what we were doing with NGOs and stuff like that, it was a lot of organizations just booked with us. It wasn't the fight for it. And I think people saw the value of it, not having themselves to be on the phone for hours and hours with an airline trying to get some kind of credit or some kind of information. It's now you can just phone your travel agent and they will do the work for you. But when you're coming up on 40 as I was, and suddenly I don't have a job, and what do you do? And the whole world is shut down. I mean, thankfully we were all fine where we were and everything, but it was a weird time.
So weird. No one knew what they were doing.
Yep.
At the beginning, it was supposed to be a couple of weeks.
Yep. That's what we all thought.
Yeah. So at what point did you start pulling people back? Was it right away or?
It was almost right away.
Okay.
We were getting contacts. And I still remember my boss saying, I think these organizations are overreacting because it was the NGOs pulling their people out immediately for the most part. And then we'd have sort of the individual travelers as well. But it was immediate. Like as soon as the news came out, it was, we want everybody back pronto. There is no travel happening. And then as you're watching airlines say, we're not doing these flights and we're grounding flights, then the panic certainly picked up.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people just didn't know what was going on. And it was good that it happened as stressful as it was for us. Like it was good that for the most part, people could be safely back in Canada before like the really bad stuff was sort of coming out and they were truly stuck in countries because people were stuck. And some of them were long-term people. Like I remember people in West Africa and they're like, you know, this is our home and we have a ministry here and we're probably just as safe here as anywhere else. You know, we'd reach out to them to be like, we know that you're there. Mm-hmm. What's your plan? And it's like, no, we're safe. We're just going to wait it out. And as far as I know, a lot of people ended up doing that, like long-termers.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, because then you're going to go home to what? It's
right.
Canada's not necessarily home anymore for you. And then what? And it's not like you can go and visit family and friends and increase your support. So you may as well be somewhere.
Well, and that's true too. That's something I didn't even think about. A lot of these people don't have homes back in their home country. Because when they furlough, they usually stay at a short-term rental or somebody gifts them a rental. So yeah, what were they coming home to?
Oh, that's the question, which we were unfortunately all gone by the time those were all happening. But I don't know. I mean, that would have been an incredibly hard decision to make for anybody of just, okay, my organization is pulling me back, but what am I doing? Like, what am I going back to? And is it worse in Canada than where I am at the moment?
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to
Well,
that.
and there was a period of time where nothing had touched Africa for a while too. So that was also like, yeah, stay in Africa.
Yeah, that it was actually the safest place to be.
So you, along with a lot of people, lost your job through this experience. But your industry was one of the worst affected because it's been one of the hardest to build back up.
Yes.
So at what point did you realize, okay, this isn't short term anymore. This isn't going away. What am I going to do next?
It took a few months, I would say, because I think we were all expecting this will be a few weeks. They'll shut everything down, like with SARS and the Ebola crisis that had happened while I was at that travel agency as well. I think we all just figured, just wait it out. And they did actually take a long time to lay us all off. Like at first it was, I can't remember if it was the end of March or the end of April, one of the two, but they said, we're going to let everybody go, but we're not making this official. They didn't make it official until 3 months later.
Wow.
I think that it was like, this is not coming back. And obviously they were hoping they couldn't do anything with full staffs of offices full of people. So it made a lot of sense. And the Canadian government, they had set up a program pretty quickly for people in that exact situation of just apply. And they did a really good job of protecting citizens immediately for financial things. And then it's sort of when you get back on your feet, then this program of subsidy ends. But yeah, it took a while for our industry. And then when we all sort of knew it was happening, that it was just a waiting game of, okay, well, they're going to have to make this official. Thankfully, I ended up picking up a job at a bookstore pretty much right away. So that was a lot of fun as a book lover.
Yeah. How does that happen when everything is shut down?
Well, and it was in a mall, which is even funnier. So it was a lot of making sure people had their masks on and chasing out people from the store if we had more than 10 in the store and they were not. Yeah. So that was interesting. And I'm glad it's over, at least that side of things. But yeah, certainly. I mean, I went from a job working with people, but sitting at the comfort of my own home behind a desk in a panic to actually working in a mall in the middle of a pandemic and be like, which is actually safer for me right now. But I mean, thankfully it worked out and yeah, it ended up being fine. And then I got to work back with these guys again when I went back this winter for Christmas. And they've been very good to me. My sister now works there. She was a teacher for 20 years. Okay. COVID just did her in. As so many teachers and so many other things, it was mentally just draining. And she just made the hard decision to say, I can't do it anymore for my own mental well-being. And I'm very proud of her for doing it because obviously she's taken a big pay cut by leaving a job like that after 20 years. But mentally, she is in such a better place for having done it. And I know she gets asked a lot if she'll go back into teaching. And it makes me feel for people who are in that position of teachers and goodness, I mean, hospital staff, not enough words even to ask how they got through this whole situation. So it's, I mean, yeah, the travel industry, but I had like a fun job. Like it was a lot of work, obviously, but it was a lot of fun. And I didn't have to worry about my physical health at the end of the day, where so many people do. So it was rough for a lot of people. And I mean, I'm thankful everything worked out as it did. And I ended up here because of it, truly. I mean, it was okay, God, like, I think I have something more to offer. I have no idea what it is. I don't even have a job, but like, let me do whatever you want me to do. And then suddenly it's Romania. And then it's, you're staying in Romania, by the way. You didn't expect that or necessarily want that, but it's been the best thing. Like, I love it. The year went very quickly and it's home. It's home away from home.
Yeah.
And it's a found family that we have here. Yeah. And just all the different stuff that they are trusting me with. And again, sort of all the little jobs that I've done leading up to this have all now sort of come to fruition of, we need you to teach English. And we need you to do inventory on things, because I did that. I mean, so far they haven't asked me to run go-karts, which I did, or sell anybody books, but we'll get there maybe one day.
You never know at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
I love books. And so I've always thought, like, you know, if I ever needed like a temporary job or something like that, I would love to work in a bookstore.
Oh, yes.
But then it's like that idea, like, don't, I don't want to say it because whatever, I will. Don't shit where you eat.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm always so nervous, but that wasn't your experience at all.
Not in the least.
Okay.
Not in the least. No, it was fun. I mean, I am one of those people, I need to have like 5 or 6 books on the go at the same time.
Same. Yes.
And so I'm slow getting through one book because I take so long and I'm listening or reading all of them, which, yeah. So it's...
I don't know why.
Well, and up until COVID, like I was not an audiobook person or podcast listener whatsoever.
Same. Well, I did podcasts.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, and now I'm big into audiobooks here because I can still get them from my local library online. And so I listened to a ton. So it was great. Like people would come in and be like, what do you recommend? And I always had my couple of go-tos, but I would admittedly say, like, the people I saw regularly, like, I haven't read any of these new bestsellers because I'm still over here on the ones that have been out for 6 months. But it was fun. And then you'd have the people who'd come back and be like, oh, you gave me such a good recommendation last time. Like, we'll have people come and hunt us down in the store. And like my sister, because she is a very avid reader, is Sarah here? Because she helped me last time. Or like one of the girls is an author herself, actually, and has published 2 books now. And so she was our sci-fi fantasy go-to.
Okay.
And so we'd have people come in and be like, is Alessandra here? Because I really want to find out, like, what is she reading?
Yeah.
And it was cool. Like, I loved it. It is a great team of people. And it was just fun. And I'd get all sorts of recommendations.
That's awesome.
Of which I have enormous lists. I will never get through in my lifetime of books I want to read. But
Same.
yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, actually, for my own peace of mind. It's still a fallback option for me.
It would be, I think, the ideal retirement job in a way, but we were a varied group. Like we had a 19-year-old, we had a couple of 20-year-olds, we had some of us in 30s, 40s, 50s. So, and everybody just had their own genre that they loved. And so we'd have one of the girls is big into manga and anime. And so anytime somebody would come in and they'd ask a question, I'd be like deer in the headlights. And I'm like, hang on, let me find Dania for you. So there was a lot of that. And so you learn a lot. And it's just a cool place to work when you can see the new book that's coming out and nobody else has got their hands on it.
Please.
And you're, So it's high on, it should be high on the list for sure. Yeah.
I'm getting a little FOMO over here. That's awesome.
So I am living in my dream world. So I'm very blessed. That's for sure.
I think, when we talk about service-oriented work or in the Christian world, missions work, the idea of raising funds doesn't necessarily get talked about that much because it is a very, depending on your personality and your support network, it's a very difficult journey. To fundraise for yourself is to have another job, right? So you have your job of the work that you're doing, but then you have to convince people that the work you're doing is valuable enough for them to support you to do it, which is fair. People want to know where their money is going, but I think that we don't necessarily talk about enough that it is a job in and of itself to fundraise.
Definitely.
And then you're fundraising personally, you're trying to build up this organization. And then you have the actual work that you're doing for an organization, which to your point a little bit earlier, when you said like, it's life. It's not just I'm on 9 to 5 and then I'm done. This is life.
Yep. I remember the best piece of advice I got was from somebody who was with Hope for the Nations.
Okay.
Who are from my same hometown.
Oh, wow.
I did not know them while we were in Romania and ended up meeting them in our hometown.
What?
Yep.
Wait a second.
No, I'm very serious. I'm very serious. That couple is from my hometown. And I'd never met them before. And we were actually, I think in 2021, we were talking about something and they're like, oh, they're from Canada too. And I think they're from Abbotsford. And I said, I'm from Abbotsford. Anyway, I met them. We kind of got in contact online and I met them back home. And now, of course, they're back in Romania and I see them on a semi-regular basis. So that was in between me being here in 2021, going home, making that decision in like end of October 2021. And then I was here in early March. So it was a short turnaround time to be like, I'm doing this and I need to fundraise and I don't have the first clue. I don't have a home church back home that I can lean on. And they said to me, they're like, you have to know, don't take things personally if you don't get the support from people that you think are going to support you.
Yeah.
It's going to be from those people on the fringes that you didn't know but don't really know. And then it will be from complete strangers. And with 100% certainty, that's what it was. So that happened by December. I had very, very little. And my mom actually one morning came and she's like, why don't you reach out to like the local newspapers here and tell them what you're doing? And I did. I reached out to a few, and 2 journalists got in touch and they're like, yeah, we love this. Can we do a story? They both did. And with my link to a fundraising page, and a bunch of people I will never ever meet in my life gave money to just this girl who told a story in an article. And I mean, that's the whole, you're along for the ride, and you just have to be like, I have no idea how this is going to pan out, but I'm going to trust that it will if it's the way it's supposed to go. And sure enough, that's what's happened. So it's been, the fundraising is my least favorite part, let's say. I do not like to go and tell my story, strangely enough, although I'm doing that on a podcast, but I generally do not. I'm a pretty private person, and I don't like to just get up there and blast away, but that's part of the gig, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, Jen. You are kind of the poster child for what's meant for you will not pass you by.
Well, thank you. If you take it.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is just, if I could tell people anything, it's don't let those opportunities go, because we all get them somewhere along the lines, and you don't know how and when. You don't know what one decision is going to change everything. And so I think people have to be bold and be brave, and whether they recognize that in themselves or not, it's go and do your thing.
Yeah.
I wish more people would do that. I think especially because being here now with a lot of other people, this is exactly, we're all on the same path in some way. We all got here in very different ways, but it's like, why don't more people do this? Like, why? And it doesn't have to be going halfway around the world. It can be helping your neighbor and helping people in your community. But I mean, if COVID taught us anything, it was people are kind. They will go out of their way and do things for other people. And it's like, that shouldn't stop because the pandemic is diminishing, let's say.
Speaking of COVID, you said earlier that you were the first international volunteer back in the hospital. What was that experience like? I didn't come back until this year, so I have not been here through any of the COVID stuff. It is very different now. I imagine a lot of restrictions have been lifted. What was it like to enter back into a situation that had been completely shut down? Because their hospital project was completely shut down.
Yeah. Well, certainly things like wearing masks, which I think is going to just be a forever in the hospital, which makes a lot of sense. But I remember coming in 2017 and 2019 having quite a few kids in the rooms. And now I think there's a big push of, if your kid's not sick enough to be here, then you're not staying here. There's certainly been a lot fewer kids over time, I think. Like we'll still have, I call them the frequent flyers, because they're in for a variety of different reasons and we have to see them. But for the most part, I think that mentality has changed, and or parents aren't abandoning their kids at a hospital for weeks on end.
Yeah.
As much. I'm not sure which, but yeah, it's a lot of just little things. I mean, they make do, and thankfully it wasn't a lot of changing in terms of how we could love on the babies. And I mean, we couldn't do things like baby closet for the longest time, but that's all sort of come back now. So it's just the normal, all the stuff we're used to now with the hand sanitizers and the masks and the, if you're feeling a little under the weather, then don't come. But for the most part, I think it's almost back to normal.
Yeah. I mean, it felt pretty normal when I went. You know, over the years, things have changed anyway, as they tend to do. And the hospital has grown and they've enforced stricter policy when it comes to these children, which is not a bad thing.
No, not in the least.
They've done so much work on the hospital. I mean, like things, that is the nature of time, right? It changes everything. But I'm glad to see that things are returning to the way they were before, in that the outreach is able to be there again.
And I think now people are, just in terms of volunteers, I mean, for these next 2 months, we are full up with volunteers, which is fantastic. That's how we want it to be. And there's a a lot of them are returning. There's a couple of first timers. In fact, they're at the hospital right now, which is great. I mean, mother, father, 17-year-old daughter, fantastic. Like, what an experience to give to your kid, and to be able to do that as a family too is just, it's cool. So that has been a big perk in the last, it started to come back even last year, but it was sort of the long-term ones who are always in. And now it's like, oh, cool. Okay. So we're getting bigger. This is good. And with the FFR team going and doing concert series in Germany, and then the one that we're going to do in Canada in September/October. I mean, they've never done one in Canada before. And I just can't wait, because it's like, there's so many people that need to hear what FFR is all about, and the mission, and just the hope behind it. And people need that. I mean, we get enough bad news on the news every night. You need hope, and it's a lot of that. So it'll be neat. And I think that's why I like working with this group so much, is there's an end goal always, but we're a long way off from doing it. And there's so much to do and so many people to help. And I mean, even just being flexible in terms of, okay, there's a war in Ukraine. Like when I got here last year, the war had been on for 2 weeks. There's a huge flood of refugees into Romania, into our area. And it was within me being here a day, it was, okay, we're going to go and take boxes to this organization. Okay, these guys are coming. Like, what do we have? And you hit the ground running.
Yeah.
And that hasn't stopped really, sadly, for both Ukraine and a little bit for Turkey now as well, and Syria. But the need is there. And if you're willing, then it's cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
Yeah.
Long term, your dream. No barriers in your way. No. What would you hope for the future for you?
There are places I would like to see again, or for the first time. I am very much, I take it year by year. Mm-hmm. And I've told myself that, and I've told the team here that, I've told my family that, like, I'm not going to commit to 10 years in one place, because I know myself too well. And right now, this feels very much where I'm supposed to be for 2 years anyway, because I've signed a housing contract for the next 2 years. But after that, we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of different things I would like to see and do. But if this is where I'm supposed to be for 5 years or 10 years, then maybe this is where I'm supposed to be. Or if I'm called to go home and do something totally different, then that's what I'll do. But I don't know. It's funny that I mean, I've talked to one of the girls here about it a fair bit. I spent so much time traveling in my 20s and 30s. I had so many experiences. And then getting here, it was like, oh, I can actually settle. And yeah, I can still go and see places. And that's part of the beauty of living in Europe, is you can get to places for relatively cheap for a weekend or whatever. But yeah, there's work to do, and it's important, and I feel like I'm needed. And until that changes, like I'll be here. So
that's great.
Thank you.
I love to hear it, because I love that you're here. It's great meeting you. And also,
yes,
I know
too.
How much of an impact you're having on the organization and the people that they're helping. So it's important. All right. The last question, the one question I ask everybody is, through the lens of your experiences, what does it mean to you to live compassionately?
Oh, gosh, that's a good question. That has to be at the forefront of decisions you make and the way you treat people, and whether you travel and the meaning of your travel. But just in your day-to-day, like, there's so many ways to be compassionate, big and small. And I mean, it's up to all of us to do it. And it's our responsibility to do it. And yeah, I mean, God calls us to be compassionate, full stop. Like, there's no excuse not to be. It's in all of us to do it. So
yeah,
just do it.
Just do it.
Nike. Swoosh.
Yeah. This ad is sponsored by. No, just kidding. I wish. Well, thank you so much for your time. Is there anything that I didn't touch on that you wanted to talk about?
You ran the gamut. Good job. Yeah. No,
that was just me fishing for compliments.
You're awesome, Jen. You are, although we have literally just met a few days ago, you've just got the biggest heart for everything you do. And it is my pleasure to meet you and to do this. And yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, me too. I'll be back.
I can't wait. It will be wonderful.
Here we go. Thank you so much for listening to The Human Experience. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please subscribe, share it with others, and leave a rating and review on your favorite platform. Everyone has a story, and I'd love to hear yours, so be sure to check out the show notes for more information about how to stay in touch. Do good and take care.